Hello, Mashers! We're so excited to be back. Today we're venturing into a world of magic, curses, and a whole lot of palace drama with the fantasy romance from the author Alesha Escobar. Oh my Lanta. And you guys, we got this book. Alesha sent it to us way far in advance for the giveaway. Look at how beautiful this thing is. Like, I want to keep it forever. I'm ordering myself one. Her newest book, of course, The Queen's Oath, is book 1 in the Soulweaver Trilogy. Yeah, you heard me right, you guys. It features a cursed prince, a dying heir, and a girl with a magic in her blood. I'm already sold. Yeah, this is right up my alley. If that doesn't scream, put this on your Kindle, like right now, Miranda. Miranda, your Kindle.
Yeah.
I don't know what does. And if that's not enough, there's a prophecy, a palace intrigue, and a second prince who may or may not be the threat. Say less. I'm so excited. Alesha, do you want to introduce yourself? Give us a quick intro to your book and you and all of the good things.
Sure. My name's Alesha, and I'm a fantasy author who's been writing for quite some time. My first debut novel was The Tower's Alchemist, which is part of another trilogy called the Great Tower Trilogy. And that one's a very fun mashup. Think of Marvel's Agent Carter with magic mixed with Hellboy, and you got like a fun story. And from there, I've gone on to write urban fantasy. And The Queen's Oath is actually my debut romantasy, where I get to play around with, the more romantic element, with stories and characters. And I was inspired to write that in part by a fellow author who is a mostly romance author. And I had the pleasure of hanging out with her during a conference. And she was like, you know what, you should try a romantasy because I think you'd be great at it. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yes, because I do like to include those elements in all my stories, no matter what the genre, but I've never gone a full-fledged romantasy. So I wanted to go for it and, entertain my readers in the process. So I'm hoping that, it's enjoyed by a lot of people.
I'll just hear the rest of it.
I was watching you like, what's she doing over there? Yeah, that sounds great. I love how you were influenced from a colleague, too. That's amazing. We are so excited to have you on. Can you give our listeners a dramatic one-liner pitch for The Queen's Oath? Bonus points if you could make it sound like a trailer voiceover.
The crown demands her loyalty, but her heart demands more.
Dang. Brilliant. I don't know if I could have done that well.
I'm not even joking you. I just got like goosebumps. Oh, I love it when I know I'm the goofy one. Why are they laughing? Okay, so now that you've got us on the hook, I'm already in it. I've already said I'll spend the rest of the interview reading here. What inspired the Soulweaver Trilogy? Was there a scene or a character that sparked the whole story?
I believe what kind of really pushed me in that direction with the story and how I wanted to flesh out the characters was the idea that I didn't want the archetypes of the typical strong warrior woman. I have that in several of my stories, but I'm like, what if she's not necessarily a warrior or fighter? What if she's just a healer? And her power lies in healing and giving hope and life to others. So when I talk about soul weaving in the story, I developed this whole magic system where the main character, Lysara, she is someone who can basically bond her soul with yours. And depending on how much she has to heal you physically or spiritually or mentally, the bond can be kind of surface level or it can go deeper and be an actual soul bond. And she actually achieves that bond with one of the princes in the story. And she has to figure out, what is this and what does this mean for us? And kind of like the twist on that is that the prince's family, father the king, is actually responsible for the execution of her parents. And so for them to call upon her to the palace to heal him, she's wondering, is this a trap? Or are they going to ask for my loyalty, to pledge my loyalty to them? Do they want to see if I'm a traitor? Because that's what my parents were accused of, being traitors. So she has all these misgivings and fears, and she has to figure out, what's behind this and who is responsible for the prince's illness, because it's not just, he had a bad cold and he's calling for a healer, almost wasting away, dying before his family's eyes. And they know that she has a gift of healing. And even though the king is like, oh, this girl, I'm not, keen on calling her to the palace, he knows that he'll do anything to save his son.
You can just sit here and talk to us all day long. Do you do private readings?
Oh my goodness.
I totally should. You know what I'll do? I'll actually did an audio chapter for the very first chapter of the story, an audio narration. So I'll send that to you guys, and then you can also share it, feature it if you want.
So
That's
cool.
awesome.
I love that. That's awesome. All right, so we've got, like you mentioned, palace drama. We have our prince, or maybe two, and we have our magical healer that's caught in the middle. What fantasy trope do you love writing, and which one did you totally flip on its head in this series?
I love the different tropes. Kind of like the top ones for me is definitely the chosen one. I know it might be a little bit cliche, but I love the idea of chosen one because it, everyone who reads the story can put themselves in that position of I can be that hero. I can be the one to go out and help and make a difference. So it's not so much as you're special just because you're special because there's something in you which you can use to make a difference to help other people or to change the world. And so that's one of my trips that I really enjoy. And I think I turn it on its head because she starts to suspect that there's more to her powers and also her own history that she's not privy to, and she has to figure out what that is, but that it can go either way. Fate is not set in stone. She has to make certain choices along the way, and that's the toughest part because, with characters, if they make the right choice or a good choice all the time, they're too perfect and you can't really relate. But once they kind of struggle, make mistakes, or think, man, I just want to give up and go back home. Why did I even start this journey? And, that's what makes it fun.
I love that.
See, I get the goosebumps again. I wonder if I could read this without breaking the spine. Just kidding. I'm just joking, guys. I'm gonna get off here and buy my own copy. Speaking of flipping the script, how has your journey been as an indie author since publishing in 2011? Is that when you started publishing?
Yes. It has been an insane journey. And I first started when the Kindle platform was, just a couple of years new, and I had no idea what I was doing when I first published. I hit that button and I thought, oh, it's going to be on Amazon. Everyone's going to see it. And no one saw it. And I quickly realized that you need to put in some extra work with marketing and making connections. Just meeting other fellow authors, indie authors, was such a big help because, I had mentors who would give me advice or who would share tips with me. And then we'd also support each other. Even if it's something as simple, hey, I have a couple thousand people in my newsletter. I'm going to share your book with them, this week or something. And I do the same for them as well. So just building up those connections and community is so important. It's like, there's a tendency maybe to feel like, oh, I have to catch up with so-and-so. I have to compete with this person or that person, but it's not a competition because no one's going to write the story that I'm writing, and I can't write the way my friends write. We all have a unique story to tell. And readers, they don't care. They'll gobble up everything. I once sent out a survey to my newsletter readers. I asked them, how many books do you like to read per week? And the majority of them said about 10 books, I think, or something like within a couple of weeks, they can devour like up to 10 books. And so it's like there's room for everyone. So, you should never worry about it, right?
That's one of my favorite things, about the indie communities, because I see so many authors, they'll have like new books being released this week on their socials, and they'll include people from all different mix-up and genres, and it's amazing how much support there is for all of the authors together, not just, oh, well, we're fantasy authors, we're going to stick to our own and share this. No, it's like all of it. The community's so great, and it's amazing seeing everybody support each other.
Well, it's like we just got a newsletter. I don't remember who it was from, but like on the bottom of her newsletter, there was like, this is my top 3 picks of indie authors that you should read right now. And they were all brand new releases coming out. And I think hers was like a rom-com, but there was like a dystopian on there, and like 2 other ones that are like completely off her rails.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's so cool that you guys all always share all the time. I love it.
Awesome.
It's so cool.
It's great.
Yes, completely agree. Okay, so we heard that your debut novel, The Tower's Alchemist, is being adapted into a screenplay.
Yes.
That's so cool.
It is so awesome. And I actually had the honor of writing that, which was a huge task because at first we were going to look for a writer to hire. And then my mentor who I was working with, he's like, you know what, why don't you do it?
Well, I mean, it makes the most sense. It's your story.
Yes,
right?
Yes. And, it's funny because I learned a lot about it because at first I was a little bit intimidated because there were some technical things because, a script is, different in a lot of ways from a novel. But at the same time, they're both telling a story. So I had to fit like a 300 something page book into just 120 pages, right, for the script.
Yeah.
And so there are things that were cut out, and I'm like, oh, I love this part, but I have to cut it out. So now I understand when people say that didn't happen in the book or they left this out. A lot of times it's a certain reason, right?
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with the amount of space that you have in a film or even like a TV adaptation.
Definitely.
Well, it's like, especially because one episode could be like 4 or 5 days, like in a book.
Yeah.
But those 4 or 5 days are 200 pages.
Right,
it's like, how do you fit the 200 pages into an hour-long episode?
Yeah.
It takes you longer to read that.
Yes.
Yeah. That's so cool, though. Congratulations, because that's amazing.
So much.
That is amazing.
So cool.
Do you have ideas on casting for your lead? Who would you be dreaming of as your lead actresses?
Oh, goodness, it's a tough decision. It's like if Kate Beckinsale, I loved her in Underworld. Like, I actually used the Underworld images in like my pitch packet because I created this whole like nice slide presentation when I had to talk to the producer and say, oh, what kind of audiences would like this, and think of the audiences who enjoy, the strong female character lead who has magic powers or abilities. Think of Underworld. Think of, Agent Carter, things like that, and how they're assertive, yet at the same time they're smart. They're ready to deal battle against, evil forces. And so I learned a lot about the process and what it takes. And so, I'm hoping that, keep moving forward with it. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting, I think, experience for authors who are interested in that. Definitely don't be afraid to just, try it out.
That's so cool. I want to bow down to you right now. Okay, so let's imagine that the Queen's Oath had a magical scent. What would it smell like?
Ooh, I would definitely have to say it would smell like exotic flowers, maybe some spices, because throughout the story, I really lean into like the magic atmosphere, nature, and just walking down the hall, we can smell a whiff of, the spices, from, the cooks in the kitchen, or, the aroma of perfume from the nobles, things like that, or, these beautiful flowers that are decorating the tables at the ball. So I like to play up the senses. What are you seeing, smelling, touching, tasting?
That sounds amazing. Okay, build a candle. Everybody needs to have the candle while they're reading the book.
Yes, right?
I would, it'd be right here.
Yeah, like a jasmine candle.
So if you make candle.
Yeah, reach out. You get to build a fantasy crossover dinner party. What 3 characters from any fantasy books, it could be yours or others, are you inviting, and what's being served?
Well, I'm going to start with what's being served. Definitely some nice, juicy protein, like some sort of roast meat. And I'm like that sneaky person who likes to get to dessert as soon as I can. So I'll definitely say, the cakes and the pies and the tarts. I rarely see anyone like in the fantasy drink the coffee, but I'll find a way to have coffee with the characters, and I would definitely like to see one of my right. I could. I definitely think my characters would like to sit down and have dinner with. One of my favorites is Magic Bites by Kate Daniels. With Kate Daniels, I would definitely have her at the table because her and that sword. There are some characters who have, do some sword fighting in the story, so they would definitely have something to talk about, maybe compare their weapons. And
I like it.
Maybe like a wise old wizard in there too, so maybe stick in Gandalf.
It's funny because I was thinking of the wizard from A Kid in King Arthur's Court. I don't know if you've seen that from like a long time ago.
Yeah, that's cool.
That would be fun.
I don't know why, but that just popped into my head.
Just came from the depths of your brain from 20 years ago or something.
It's funny because we were just talking with another author about how I can sit here and read a book and I can love it and I can devour it. And then as soon as I close it, like as soon as I close the book, like all of it goes back into the book. But I can remember like music lines from when I was like 11.
Yeah.
Yes. But I can't remember the book I just read.
Yeah, it just works that way sometimes, but yeah.
Because I'm wise.
Yes, you
go.
Okay, lightning round. First thing that comes to your mind, quick off the tongue, coffee or tea while writing?
Coffee.
Your fantasy comfort read.
Right now is I'm reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. Nearing the end, I do have some chapters left to finish, but I've been enjoying it. My nieces recommended the book to me, and they're like, Auntie, you have to read it. And I'm like, okay, I'll check it out.
I didn't like, was it the last 2 books, Miranda? I don't think we read the last 2 books.
Yeah, I read the first 3, but I didn't read the last 2, but that was only because people were telling me that it was, like, different. I actually didn't enjoy the first one, to be honest.
Yeah.
It took a lot of convincing to jump into the second one, but then the second and third one, so good. But yeah, I don't know about the last few.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, writing playlist. Are you silence, music, white noise?
I actually like listening to classical music because if I listen to music, with singing and lyrics, I start singing along and thinking about the song, and I get distracted. Yeah. But if it's just pure classical music, I can listen to it, keep writing, keep going. I also do it while I'm editing too.
Nice. Yeah, and it's a proven fact that classical music helps with your brain waves and being creative. So I'm sure that is a plus too.
Yes.
That's why I'm not creative.
Oh my gosh, throw some classical on, Ash.
Just put out some Mozart.
I should.
Okay, if you have to choose between Prince Darius or Prince Kayel, be honest, who would you pick?
I'm gonna cop out of this because I cannot pick yet. I even asked my advanced readers, okay, let me know who would you pick, because I haven't decided even who Lysara would pick. I don't know which one, because they both have their strengths and good qualities, and she has she likes both, and there's something in both that she finds attractive. So I have not decided, and neither can my advanced readers decide. And I'm like, but you guys tell me. And they're like, we can't choose. We can't choose.
Totally.
So at some point I will have to make a choice, right? Because by the end of the trilogy, she has to end up with someone. So
She picks neither.
I was going to say, power to herself. She's the one
I pick myself
herself.
Excuse me. Okay, last one. We always like to ask this question. What do you hope readers feel or take away when they finish The Queen's Oath?
I want them to take away a sense of fun and adventure, that they've been entertained, because, if they didn't have any fun reading the story, then they're not going to want to read the other ones coming up, right? So it's, I believe it's a fun escape, especially with everything that's going on in the world. People want to have just a nice little corner to enjoy some fun and enjoy it with fun characters too. One of the things that people enjoy about reading is that they can escape into this world, think about, wow, I wish this was my best friend, or I would totally hang with them. And so I want to provide that for readers.
Love it. All right. Well, like Ashley said, that was our last question. We want to thank you so very much for joining us. Mashers, if you're into high stakes fantasy, slow burn romance, and heroines with heart, make sure you grab your copy of The Queen's Oath now. It's so beautiful. And Ashley can't wait to get her own so she doesn't mess up our giveaway copy. We are going to link everything Alesha down into the caption below so that you can access the book and follow Alesha on socials. Don't forget to keep following us for more authors and more wonderful books from our favorite indies. As always, keep mashing those books, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.